Hi, I'm Donna Andersen, host of True Lovefraud Stories and Love Fraud Live. And today I have great news for you. Yes, there is life and love after the sociopath. I am living proof. Perhaps you listened to episode 1 of this podcast series, the story of my marriage to James Alwyn Montgomery, who was a personality disordered con man. When I finally figured out that my marriage was nothing but a scam, I was heartbroken, enraged, devastated. I spent a lot of time curled up on the floor, crying. This turned out to be exactly what I needed to do. It allowed me to release the emotional pain of the experience so I could recover and move on. And I did. About a year after my divorce, I met the love of my life, Terry Kelly. Now we've been together for more than 20 years. We talked about our relationship in an episode of the Love Fraud Live podcast, which follows. We want you to be encouraged. Love and happiness are certainly possible after the sociopath. Hi, everybody. I'm Donna Andersen.
And I'm Terry Kelly, Donna's husband.
And we're here for a special edition of Love Fraud Live, where we're talking about real love, because that's what we enjoy. And the idea here is to reassure everybody that it is possible to find love after a sociopath. So, Terry.
Yes.
What do you remember about how we first met?
Well, we first met in Philadelphia in a club, in a bar, a blues bar, 20-some years ago. And I remember you and your sister came walking in. The place was packed. I was at the bar, drinking and listening to music. And I waved both of you over to have a spot at the bar, because that was the only place there was any room. So we did that, and we chatted for a while with both you and your sister. Danced a little bit, enjoyed the music. And then shortly before closing, you sent your sister packing.
I did.
Yes. So it was rather. So Donna and I just enjoyed a great conversation, and we hit it off. And
we closed the bar. I hadn't done that in about 20 years.
It's the last time we closed the bar.
This is true. So anyhow, we kept in touch, and on our first date, you took me to a fancy restaurant in a casino, and I told you the story of my sociopathic ex-husband, which many of Love Fraud readers may know. This guy took $250,000 from me. He cheated with 6 different women during our 2.5-year relationship. He had a child with one of those women. And then 10 days after I left him, he married the mother of the child, which was the second time he committed bigamy. So I told you about that.
So she told me about that, and I promptly ordered another drink. and she had me trapped in the banquette, so I couldn't run away. So I listened to the story, and she was very sincere and honest, and I was just believed in her story, and it was incredible that she survived that, and she has a lot of what I want to say, fortitude to just to power on. So I was impressed with that after hearing the horror story, and so we had a great evening, and we enjoyed one another's company, told each other our stories, and I had my own story, so it wasn't a total shock to have a horror story, because I had my own. So that was how we exchanged stories.
So it didn't scare you away?
Didn't scare me away, no.
Well, that's really great. So on our second date, now this is very something that really impressed me, was Terry comes walking up the front porch, the steps to the front porch, and in his hand he's got some papers like this. And he brought me his tax return. His tax return. So why did you do that?
Well, I didn't want to think you were dating another con man, I guess, that I actually had made money and was making money. And I felt that you needed some reassurance.
And it was very reassuring.
Yes.
And actually, he handed it to me, and I looked at it, and he says, well, don't you want to examine it? And I said, no, I've seen enough, and I gave it back. But I was really touched that he was willing to do something like that for me. Yeah. Okay, so we started seeing each other pretty much every week because we lived about an hour apart. And soon you invited me on vacation, and we went, where did we go on that first vacation?
We went to Canada.
Yes, Quebec, Canada.
Quebec.
So tell us about that trip. What did you like?
Well, it was a wonderful trip. It was springtime?
No, it was summer. Middle of summer.
Middle of summer.
July.
And so the weather was great. The people were great, and we enjoyed one another's company tremendously. We did a lot of some sightseeing and a lot of getting to know one another.
Yeah.
And it was just
stayed in the Frontenac.
It was just a wonderful time to get to know one another in a relaxed way, and we enjoyed it very much.
And we saw the International Fireworks Festival, which was just fabulous. It was fireworks coming out over the waterfall. So we enjoyed that a lot, and hiking in the woods where we almost got lost. But we did manage to survive that.
We did.
But there were a lot of adventures, and it was a great time.
Yes, it was.
So we dated for 4 years, and neither one of us ever brought up, asked where the relationship was going. So why do you think that worked?
Well, I think we're having such a great time that time flies by. I think the key here is about love, is when it's real, the time just goes by so quickly. You don't realize, the day, the week, the month, the years, and they went by 4 years. It was incredible. And so we turned around one day, and our circumstances changed a little bit, where I was living and so forth and so forth. And Donna said, why don't you come here and stay? My office had been shut down. I said, okay, let's do that. So we spent a few months preparing the house to get together, and I was preparing to propose to her, unbeknownst to her.
Yes.
So we did that back in Philadelphia. And I surprised her with an overnight stay and some dinner and
at
music
the Ritz-Carlton,
and gave her a nice engagement ring.
Yes.
And we had a wonderful time, and she was very surprised, and we were both thrilled with the whole thing. Was just thrilling.
It really was, and I actually was surprised because, as I said, we never talked about where the relationship was going. We were simply going with the flow and enjoying each other's company. And then Terry said he wasn't going to be a kept man, and was willing to make a commitment, and so he proposed. And then we planned our wedding for 5 or 6 months later, I guess it was. And Terry wanted to have it close to Valentine's Day, so which we did. Today is Valentine's Day, and 2 days ago was our anniversary,
right?
Our 18th wedding anniversary.
Yeah.
And so we had a very nice day together. Went out to dinner, and also then after we went out to dinner was the Super Bowl, and our team lost. But oh well, we still had a great day.
Right.
So, what do you remember about our wedding day?
That flew by too. It was very quickly. It was a very nice day. I mean, it was the weather was nice in February. Mm-hmm. It was very mild. I remember that, and everything went as planned. Your relatives and friends were there, so we had a great time. The hours just flew by, and I remember you were very elated. She was beaming. And so was I.
Yes, you were beaming.
We were both beaming. So it was a thrilling day, and I'm glad I made the commitment, and Donna made the commitment to me, and it was very momentous, I guess. It was a big monumental time in both our lives. I think we found true love.
Yeah, and we danced to our song, which was "I Can't Help Falling in Love with You" by Elvis Presley.
The King.
The King, yes, yeah. So that was a great time. And then we went on our honeymoon down to St. John in the Virgin Islands, and that was fabulous. Just enjoyed snorkeling and going around to all the outdoor areas and the restaurants. So that was great too. We
Fabulous,
enjoyed,
yes.
it was good.
Very nice.
Yeah. So, what do you think are some of the special moments that we've shared since we've been married?
Well, I think every day waking up to you saying, "Good morning, sweetheart," is special every day. No, and she does that too. Really, she does. And so I enjoy that every day. I mean, it's special just to be be loved every day. There are special moments. I mean, vacations and so forth. Yes, but every day is a pleasure. Being with Donna. So I appreciate her very much.
And we both appreciate each other. And I think a big reason for that is because we both had our stories from what happened before. And, because of having the bad experience, it makes it so that when we're having a good experience, we just appreciate it all that much more, because of the bad experience.
Yes.
So there really is a lot of appreciation. There's a lot of respect, which is key to any happy relationship. And we just respect each other and do what we can for each other. And we're a team. We're a team around the house. We're a team in business, obviously, and we just support each other as much as we can, which is great. Okay, and the other thing that we don't do is we don't argue very much.
No, we really don't.
Yeah. So the only thing that we argue about is, how we're going to decorate the house. That's about the only thing that we sometimes have disagreements on, but then everything else pretty much just kind of gets worked out. Okay, so why do you think our relationship has worked?
Because you do the decor. It's as simple as that. No, I think, she has two brothers, and the one brother, her younger brother, is very tough, and I didn't want to let Donna again because, Greg threatened me. He said, if you don't take care of this girl this time, you're done, because the last guy was, not good. So, no, just kidding. But we were both looking for love. Like everybody was and is, and Donna had a heart of gold. I have to say, she has a heart of gold, and I respected that, and that's what I wanted, and that's what we both wanted. I think is to have a relationship where we care about one another, and that's the way we live day to day. Is we care about each other's well-being. I think so. I think it's very important to be conscious all the time of your partner.
Yes, yeah. Okay, so looks like we have a couple of questions. So Tiny Face McGee says, did you work on boundaries? I'm so easy to dominate. I'm like a frog being slowly boiled. I didn't even notice I have no boundaries until I am paying for everything and being a 24-hour on-call slave. Well, I'm so sorry that's what you're enduring. It sounds familiar because that's what it was like when I was involved with a sociopath. But when you have the right partner, that's not an issue. I mean, like, we don't have to worry about boundaries. We don't have to try and figure out, where the limits are, because it just doesn't come up.
Yes, and trust is a big factor. I mean, I trust Donna if she says she has to do something or go somewhere. Or if she told me tomorrow she had to go away for 2 days, I said, fine. Whatever you need to do, you know what you need to do. I think respecting one another's boundaries is important. No matter what, you have to support the other person. And that's called respect for their individual life. And, so no matter what Donna has to do or I have to do, we respect that and go ahead and do it.
And that's an important point, because we do both have our own lives.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we do both have things that we do on our own. There's plenty of things that we do together, but we have separate interests. There are things that, and we have separate work in addition to the work that we do together. So, and that's okay, because we're both full, complete people on our own. And so when we come together, that means there's two people who are supporting each other as partners, as equal partners. And that's what makes it work. Okay. So Kinda says, do you have kids together? And actually, I don't have any children, and Terry does.
I have two.
But no, we don't have children together. This is a second marriage for both of us.
And maybe that's why it works.
It could be.
Because kids are... kids.
We don't have to argue about kids.
They're very demanding, and it's so it's we don't have children together, and that could be part of it.
Okay.
I guess I don't know, but
Well,
we have each other.
Had we been younger when we met, it probably would have been different, but it didn't work out
Even
that way.
Even if we had children, I don't think it would. It would be the same relationship. It would be strong.
Yes. Okay. Okay, so how did you two decent people end up in prior sociopathic domains? Anybody can come across a sociopath, and there's just too many of them out there. It's about 12% of the population. Once I learned what a sociopath is, I realized that at least two prior men that I dated probably were some level of disorder, not as bad as the one I married, but they did have some level of disorder. So it can happen to anybody. And, as you learn what they are, you see them in all kinds of circumstances. So I would say that a lot of decent people have run into people who are disordered. And it's just the way it is.
And I say, in the beginning of a relationship, usually the disordered person masks who they are to a tremendous degree. And in my case, that was true with my ex. And I didn't find out for years later that she was a different person, that I didn't recognize or care for that, in that way. And I think that's what happens. In your case, James hid a lot of things. Absolutely. They're not going to tell you everything that's... they're not going to scare you off right away. They want to draw you in. And some people do it unconsciously, and other people do it consciously, to con you and to get what they want. But eventually the mask slips off, and it can be hell, and it usually is.
Yeah, and many of us, of course, know exactly what that's like. Okay. All right. Issa says, I finally feel like I've met the right person after the sociopath, but they have really bad trust issues and avoid their feelings, even though everyone around us can see there's something special. Recovery is always the answer. Okay. And I know that I worked a lot on my recovery after the sociopath. So if you think that this person is good for you, but they have trust issues, well, then that just means he or she has more recovery to do. And, sometimes there is a role for that in a relationship, because relationship can also be part of your healing. But you do have to be careful and make sure that this person, your partner, is working on recovery, and that you're not a crutch. You could be supportive, but you don't want to be the one holding up the entire relationship. So I would say that if it feels like it could work out, and perhaps your partner just needs more time, give it some more time and see how it works out. Sometimes it may not work out, because sometimes we're meant to just travel along with somebody for a while, and then that's it, and it's not meant to be permanent. So you just, if you're not looking too far ahead and trying to figure out what's going on, and just staying in the moment and enjoying what's going on in the moment, then see how it develops. And if it could just be a temporary involvement.
Well, that's a good point, though, about being in the moment. Our relationship is moment to moment, and when it's moment to moment, you're enjoying each moment. Those moments become, as I said before, days, weeks, months, years, and you don't realize it. And so, but you're always in that moment, enjoying it. And I think that's something that's special.
Yeah. Okay. All right, so Lisa says, I've done much recovery after being married to a sociopath, although I'm still not sure I can trust again. Advice? Keep working on your recovery. If you're still feeling that you don't have the capacity to trust, that means there's more healing to do. So it's very important to make up your mind that you want to recover and you want to heal, and then do things that make you happy. Okay, so the recovery process has two parts to it. First is allowing yourself to feel and then release the emotional pain. And then the second part is doing things that make you happy. Anything that makes you happy, anything that gets you among people, and focus on just having people around you, having friends, doing things with people. And then, something just may evolve out of somebody. If you belong to an organization or go to events or take a class or something along those lines, just work on your recovery and then be around people and just kind of let it flow and see what happens. So, take your time. I think that would be a good thing.
The main thing is to be your own person and have your own life. And the other person needs to have their own life too. And so you respect one another's life, but you come together to enjoy each other's life. But everybody has their own individual life and interests, and I think that's important. Needy people can overpower somebody else and just take them over. It's not a good relationship. So you meet somebody that you're interested in, see if they have their own life, and you should have your own too, your own interest, and they shouldn't interfere with yours, and you should interfere with them and respect what they do. And if that doesn't work, then I'd move on.
Okay. Did your prior sociopathic partner try to hook into energy centers and feed off of or drain out life force energy? Probably, because I think that's what they do. I kind of doubt it was conscious, but I think that's kind of the energetic signature of someone who's disordered. So let's see. And it says happy Valentine's Day and happy anniversary. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes. Okay. Oh, wow. So Susie says, you two lovebirds make such a nice couple.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. And that seems to be all the comments that we have today. Thank you, Terry, for joining me today.
My
pleasure.
You,
everybody.
And happy Valentine's Day, everyone.
Happy Valentine's Day. And yes, you too can have a happy Valentine's Day. All it takes is deciding to make up your mind that you want to recover and then being open to the possibilities.
All the best to you.
Thank you tonight, and we'll see you again next week. Thank you, everybody. I'm Donna Andersen, and I hope you found this conversation from my Love Fraud Live podcast to be helpful and reassuring. Love Fraud Live, as the name suggests, is a live show that I stream every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. I explain all things sociopath, such as why they do what they do, how they affect you, and how you can recover. Then I answer your questions. To participate in future episodes of Love Fraud Live, please become a premium subscriber. You'll also get True Lovefraud Stories ad-free, plus special bonus content. True Lovefraud Stories and Love Fraud Live are produced by lovefraud.com. I'm the author of lovefraud.com. Engineering is by Terry Kelly. To learn how to recognize and recover from everyday sociopaths, visit lovefraud.com. And for more information about True Love Fraud Stories, or if you'd like to share your story, visit podcasts.lovefraud.com.